Hello. Hello. It is working. Let me see if I can play some music. Will that work? Welcome everybody to our charts. To our chart. Good evening. I'm waiting for our guests. Welcome everybody. We've got 6 more minutes to start, so if you're joining us, just drop us a comment. Where are you watching from? Where are you watching from? Drop us a comment. Where are you watching from? Your location. Where are you watching from? Where are you watching from? Live YouTube. Welcome, Ibuku. Ibuku is the first. Are you the first to arrive? Royalty. Welcome, guys. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome. Welcome, guys. Ooh, welcome. Welcome. Welcome, guys. Welcome, guys. if you could please, Royalty, can you help us cascade at the Facebook group? Share the links everywhere. Tell people that we're live. I'm waiting for the guests. Um, I can't stream on Facebook. Hey, 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 hey. Hey, 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 hey. Hmm. Okay, so let me see. Hey, we play some. Welcome, everybody. I can see Lillian. Ah, Lillian, welcome. Good to see you. You guys are the first people to come. 7:56 p.m., 7:57 p.m., 7:58 p.m. How is everybody doing? Happy anniversary to Marinade Hub. Hmm. Who can tell us the day that we turned 2 years? Who can tell us? Who can tell us the day we turned 2 years? And who can tell us the activities that we've done since we started? Our quiz has started. Oh. Let's see who is going to get the answers. Who can tell us the activities that we've done since we started? Who can tell us the activities we've done since we started? Ooh, who can tell us? And who can tell us how many twin babies have we had in the Marinade Hub? How many twin babies have we had in the Marinade Hub? How many twin babies have we had? How many twin babies have we had in the hub? Two sets. Let me think. Do we have two sets? One, two. Let's see. More answers. More answers. How many twin babies have do we have at the hub? And what are your what are your favorites? Are your favorite activities? Activities at the hub so far. Three sets. Ooh, Joy won. Oh. Boop, 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 boop. Somebody got it. Oh. We've got three sets of twins, guys. Ijeoma has lost track. Joy one is the winner. Let's record her name. Joy one is the winner. Joy one is the winner. Congratulations, Joy. You are the winner. Okay. All right, let's see. We'll bring in our guests soon. Can you hear me? I can hear sound. Congratulations, Joy. You are the winner for that question. October 5th was our secondary. That, ooh. Congratulations, Ibukun. Okay, so I'm recording the winners. Joy oh no. Winner of the three sets of twins. Three sets of twins. Ibukun, winner of 5th of October. 5th of October. Congratulations. And pregnancy challenge. Vera Thomas, thank you. That's right. 1 to 4. So we've got had like 4 seasons of pregnancy challenge. Fantastic. You guys are following, That's Vera Thomas. Congratulations. So what are the other activities? Ivory, welcome. All the way from Niger State. Ooh, no, I've recorded it, Vera. I've recorded your answer. Well done. Well done. So what are the other okay, so what is your favorite activity at the hub? Your favorite activity at the hub. What is your favorite activity at the hub? Our speaker is here. Let's see who is typing. Okay. Favorite activities is pregnancy challenge number one. Number two, praise break. Wow. Well done, IBK. Well done. Okay, let me see. Of course, it has to be fitness for you, Ivory. Ivory lost over 42 kg in our fitness challenge and mind blowing 42 kg. Oh my God. And so many testimonies following that. Pregnancy challenge, and I'm reading the quiz session and the teachings on infertility. Well done, Vera. You've been one of the most engaging members of the hub. Yes, my favorite is fitness group and IVF support group. Wow, amazing. Wow, okay, we'll continue with this. I like the engagements because Mommy Sarah Beth is here. We don't want Sarah Beth to start crying, so we need to kick off as soon as possible. So as you join us, please drop your location. Where are you joining us from? What part of Nigeria? What part of the UK? Or wherever. Just drop your location, and also I would love you to drop. When did you join the hub? It would be good to see some of you dropping the particular year you joined the hub. Did you join the hub the first year or the second year? And if you can drop us, so I have gifts today, and those gifts are going to be taken randomly on those people who have responded to our questions. So I would love you to share a little bit of your experience at the hub. Just keep dropping them. What is your experience at the hub? What is your highlight at the hub since you've been a member? What are the things that has helped you emotionally, spiritually, and in the journey of fertility? Please, I need you to keep dropping those things on the chat box. It's going to help us, and we will pick some of those names and do a raffle random draw for your wins. Please tell us when you join the hub. Tell us your experience so far, what you've gained at the hub, and why you're excited to be here. So just go for it, guys. Don't hold back. Go for it. Good to see you, Grace. I can see all the IVF ladies here. Well done. Good to see you all. Nurse Wamaka is our nurse at the pregnancy room. Thank you for coming, ma'am. It's good to see all of you. Okay, so back to business. Mommy Sarah, but can you hear me?
Sure.
Yes. Oh, good. So we're good to go. Sorry, guys. I've had a lot of I don't know what to call it, flu infection and all of that. So I'm just recovering. So welcome once again to our fire chat or fireside side chat with Mrs. Josephine Muyiwa-Afolabi and aka Mommy Sarah. But just in case you're not following her on Facebook, please just that name on top of this at the description of this live video is her name on Facebook. Just go straight now and click on follow so you don't miss the all the other things that will come after, because it's only a few minutes we have to spend here. But if you want to really get to know a person, you have to follow them, to follow their lifestyle, their stories, and everything. So please follow straight away Josephine Muyiwa-Afolabi on Facebook. I think Instagram it should be the same name, isn't it?
Yeah.
What's your Instagram? Yeah. So it's the
Same here.
same name in all the pages. Okay, guys. So go follow. So welcome, ma'am. Um, Marinade Hub turned 2 years some days ago, 5th of October, officially, like when we finally came out public to say, okay, we are doing this, blah, blah, blah. So that's why we chose that day to celebrate it. And we thought that there was no better way to celebrate our anniversary than bringing you. You were one of the pioneers in the spirit of Marinade Hub. You know, I remember when I wanted to start Marinade Hub, I was conceiving the idea of what it looks like, what it would look like. That time you were still in the waiting room. And I remember sharing my story on Facebook, and in one of the that was when I started doing a blog on my experience. I was doing the blog. I think that started in 2019. And one of the blogs I wrote, you came out and you chatted with me and you said, "Oh, this. Do you know that I've experienced this? I've experienced that. I experienced." I just kept screaming, "Wow, wow, wow!" Like human beings exist. They can do this to you. And and I think that was the moment we kind of bonded a lot more. And after that, I spoke to her about Marinade Hub, the thought of starting the hub and everything. So she's been aware of it from day one. She's been supportive of this vision. She's been sending us referrals our way. She's been donating to us. She's been an amazing friend of the hub. So it's like an inner caucus, with us, not a stranger. And she has experienced even it I would say 100 times what most of you are experiencing right now. So she gets it, she understands it, and she will be sharing her story with us. So um I will give her the opportunity to tell us about herself, and just go for it. And while she's talking, guys, please, if you pick up anything, any highlight from what she's saying, drop it in the chat box, please. Communication is key here. You need to keep dropping things as you hear it. Please drop it on the chat box. We don't want these things to fly out of our brain. And I also feel strongly that there are things, moments like Kairos moments in each and everyone's life. There are people's testimonies that birth millions of testimonies. And I know that you guys have listened to my testimony when I've shared mine in a few meetings like this, and you can testify that my testimony has given birth to a lot more babies. And this is what's happening tonight. So more babies will be given birth to this evening. It's all in the hearing. Once you hear the right thing, it goes to connect to your hormones and everything. It goes to do all the work it needs to do. Even all the village people will clear away from the road. So stay tuned. When you hear the right thing, please drop it in the chat box. Thank you. All right, ma'am, take it away.
All right. Thank you so much, Sissy. Good evening, everyone. I know her name is Susan, Susu, but I call her Sissy. That's my special name for her. Uh, and thank you for having me here tonight. My name is Josephine Muyiwa-Afolabi, as it's on the screen. Surname Muyiwa-Afolabi. I'm very particular about that. So if you have to write my name anywhere, please, it's Muyiwa-Afolabi surname. So yeah, I got married in 2007 at age 29 plus. Please follow me intently. So I was above 29 when I got married in 2007. And of course, like every bride or most brides in our part of the country or a part of the world, you're looking forward to carrying your bundle of joy, right? Within the first 1 year or maybe 9 months or something. But it didn't happen. And anyway, we'll still go into that. So I'm Josephine Muyiwa-Afolabi. I'm from Nigeria, like you know, southwest Nigeria. I was born in 1978. I schooled mostly in Nigeria, first degree, second degree. I have an additional master's degree from Italy, and presently I live in Geneva, Switzerland. Uh, I've worked in the last 16 years with international health agencies in the capacity of a program manager, and I've been married for 16 years. So October 20 this year will make it 16 years since we got married. And yes, like some of you already know, we did not have our first child until last year, June. So our first child is just a year old. When, of course, our first child should probably be, uh, you know, primary to get into the university. Yeah. So, do I go ahead or is
Yes,
that
please.
enough
Yeah. Go
introduction?
on. Yeah. Yes, please.
Okay, with the story.
Yes, please.
All right. Okay. So, like I mentioned, on October 20, 2007, we danced. You know, we danced to the altar. We said I do, and we expected that in 1 year, especially if you are one who believes in chastity, you would assume that, oh, if I keep myself, if I keep my dignity, as soon as I get married, I'm going to get pregnant. And I was one of those who felt that, okay, let me arrange my wedding date in such a way that uh, the following week, the week following the marriage or ceremony would fall within ovulation period. And I was just too sure that I was going to get pregnant. And then nothing happened. The first month, second month, third month. And to be sincere, within the first year, we were not even worried. Like, we weren't really worried. I was working in Lagos State. My husband was working in Oyo State, in Ibadan. So we used to see maybe once in 2 weeks and all that. So we didn't really take it too seriously. But after 1 year, I turned 30 and I started getting really concerned. Like, what's happening here? Let's go to the hospital and check what could be the problem. Why am I not taking in? So I think our first point of call was UCH Ibadan. We went there and they were like, oh, no, no, you have to wait for another year until you've spent 2 years, with continuous unprotected sex, blah, blah, blah. You're not categorized as infertile. Okay, no problem. We went back, and after the second year, we decided to commence all medical investigations. And I'll tell you, we did everything, every kind of medical investigation you can think of. Summarily, we went to 13 hospitals in the space of 15 years, during which we waited. We attended 13 hospitals in Nigeria,
Hmm.
and not just in one city, because we kept moving from one place to another. So each time we moved from one location to another, the first question on our mind was always, please, which is the best fertility hospital here? So we were ready to spend whatever we had. At some point, we weren't even having savings, because we were ready to go all the way to do all the investigations. We wanted to know what's happening. And both of us always presented ourselves. So it's not a case where you see only the woman going to the hospital. I've had chats with a lot of people, and I realized that only the women keep going to the hospital most often. The men just leave them to it. In our case, we both always went to the hospital. So when Port Harcourt, we'll go to the best hospital, Calabar, Ogun State, Lagos, Oyo, Abuja, name it. We kept going to like the best of the hospitals. At some point, we had to take loans to finance um, fertility treatments, and the worst thing was that each time we went to the hospital, we would be told, we'll be given a new diagnosis.
Hmm.
At first it was okay, nothing is wrong with you, you guys should just relax and whatever. And when we kept pressing at Ibadan, they were like, okay, let's do a diagnostic laparoscopy for you. Let's see what's happening. Let's look at your womb. Let's look at the ovaries. Let's see if you're ovulating. let's see if your tubes are blocked. They checked everything and said, oh, everything was okay. Just go put your mind at rest. And if you're waiting, that statement is one of the most difficult things you can do. It's easier said than done. Put your mind at rest. Don't worry. Just take your mind off it. Come on, who takes their mind off seeking for a child? You understand that? So after the laparoscopy, diagnostic laparoscopy, we waited and waited again, nothing. And then you see people will come and make various kind of suggestions. Oh, have you taken this medication? Have you taken this? Have you taken that? And you don't want to be an ITK, right? You don't want it to seem like you love to keep money, you prefer money to children. So you keep spending, buying one supplement or the other every time you're ordering for supplement. In fact, there was a time we were ordering for a particular supplement which cost, I think, 200,000 naira per bottle. At this time, our joint income per month was not even up to 400,000 naira, and we had to buy supplements of like 200,000 naira every month. So you know already that infertility is financially draining as much as it is emotionally, draining, burdensome. But a lot of people out there don't understand it. So buy drugs, buy medication, and all that. And to worsen it, like I was saying, each time we went to a hospital, there would be a new diagnosis, and my spirit will fall once again. Now, as the woman, you're the one who's going to carry the baby, right, in the womb. So you'll find out that most of the investigations will be on you.
Mm.
What they do for men mostly is okay, sperm analysis, right, to check motility, to check morphology, and all that. But for the woman, you run hormonal assay, you check your tubes, you do this, you do that. At some point, they're like, oh, your tubes are blocked. Okay, initially it was one tube is blocked. And what was blocking the tube, according to them? They said there were small fibroids at the mouth of that particular tube. So it was not going to allow sperm and
Mm.
the ovum to flow out of the fallopian tube to meet with sperm. But the fibroids were so small, so tiny that they did not require surgery. Okay,
Mm.
what about the other tube? And that's where it gets funny. They're like, okay, the other tube is fine, but the ovary at the other side, you also have two ovaries, right? The ovary at that side is twisted and non-functional. It's ischemic. If you are in the medical sciences, you understand ischemia to mean that blood has not been flowing that way. So it was more or less like that ovary was dead.
Wow.
So you have an open tube with a non-functional ovary, and then the other side, a functional ovary with a tube, an open tube, which is blocked externally by fibroids. So it all seemed like a dead end. Like, okay, so what are we going to do? Now you're telling me the fibroids cannot be taken out because they are small. They are very small. You don't want to risk injuring my fallopian tube. What do we do? Okay, so let's try. Let's see what we can do. Let's see if they will shift and all that. Then we went for some herbal medicine in Ibadan.
Wow. Wow.
So like because I kept hearing things, oh, if you take this herbal medicine to shrink fibroids, it will do this, it will do that. Okay, so I said, "Well, let's go try it. Let's try now. Let's try." So we'll go ahead again. We'll buy. I will take until I start having stomach pain. I'll start having serious kinds of different kinds of pain, then I'll stop. Yeah, I took herbal medicine. Somebody is saying she went for herbal medicine. I did, but it didn't work. Then that passed. Then after a while, they came back to say that, oh, the two tubes are even blocked now. The two tubes are blocked. Okay,
Mm.
let's do they will do HSG to check. And for those of you who have done HSG, you know how painful it is. In all, within the years that we waited, I did HSG a total of 10 times.
Wow.
It got to a point where they would even ask me there at the hospital, like once they finish and I get up, they'll be like, come, are you okay? Are you normal? You didn't scream. You didn't nothing. I would just laugh. Like, I'm used to this pain. I am used to this pain. So nothing. So when they try to prep me, madam, it's going to be very painful. I said, I bet just go ahead, Joe. What is painful? I'm used to everything. Go ahead. Then after a while, okay, in the seventh year, we decided to try IVF for the first time. At that point, I was 2014. I was 36. Yeah, I was 36. So doctor advised age is no longer on your side, so you need to try IVF. Okay, how much do we have? We didn't even have enough money. So at that time, we went to the bank, we got a loan to support whatever we had, a 3-year term loan. We got it, and let's start. You know, at the beginning, I was taking the injections. They were like, okay, you take these injections for like 5 weeks. For IVF, there are different types of protocols. So the
Yeah.
protocol we signed up for was like, okay, I'll take the first type of hormonal injections for 5 weeks. So I started, and like every week or every other week, you have to go for scan to know if uh if your ovaries are
Ovaries.
being
Yeah.
suppressed. So I went, and they're like, they weren't seeing any changes. What's the problem here? Okay, just continue. At a point, they doubled the dose, and that was the time when they used to take. I can't remember the name of that injection, but one was 25,000. One bottle, one small bottle like this was for 25,000, and it lasted maybe 5 days. So it meant that like every 5 days you were buying injection of 25,000. So they
Mm.
said I should double the dose. Maybe something was wrong. And at the end of the first 5 weeks, they realized that I had what they called a chocolate cyst, ovarian
Wow.
cyst, the
Mm.
chocolate one, the one that is, so chocolatey. I think that's how to explain it. So they said the chocolate cyst, the secretions of the chocolate cyst were acting against the effect of the injection, and that was why the injection was not working. Okay, so what do we do? They needed to aspirate, that's to drain it. They needed to drain it. So how are you going to drain it? They had to cut me open on the tummy, the
Mm.
lower abdominal region. So they had to somebody said chocolate guinea, chocolate seed. It's because of the color of the secretions in the cyst. So they had to cut me open. I remember about 7 times on my lower abdominal region to drain out the cyst.
Mm.
So after draining, they asked me to rest for 2 weeks for for it to heal. And after healing, I had to restart the IVF procedure again. And from then onward, it was very smooth. Everything was fine. At the end of the day, they got 11 eggs.
Wow.
During egg retrieval, they got, did I say 11? No, sorry, 14. They got
40.
14 eggs. And of course, they took sperm from my husband and did the fertilization. They asked us to call back after 3 days to know whether there was fertilization or whatever. And when we called back, they had good news. Oh, all the eggs fertilized. All the eggs fertilized. They were all of the highest grade. I was excited. Hey, I started dreaming of, you know, how I will carry my children. I started asking my husband, how
Yeah.
many are we going to transfer? So my husband and I agreed, okay, we'll transfer four. Like, when you're waiting, you just want all the children at once. That kind of feeling. It's not chocolate cake or chocolate cyst. So I was really daydreaming. We had bought baby things. In fact, we bought baby things as far back as 2008, a year after our wedding, in faith. So I was daydreaming how the first child will wear this, the second one, the third one, the fourth one, and all that. Then they asked us to come for embryo transfer on day 5. So we went there. Yes, we got into the theater. Everyone was smiling, and they asked us, "Have you discussed how many eggs you want to transfer?" Yes, 4. Okay, that's fine. And they did the transfer. It went on smoothly. And then they took me to uh, the ward to rest. They told my husband to go, to leave me alone, maybe for some hours to let me rest, and come back in the evening to pick me up. I could go home same day. All
Mm.
right, so he left. I was sleeping, and then suddenly I felt this very sharp pain, a pain that felt like my womb was tied, and maybe people were doing tug of war on my womb, like they were pulling from the two sides. So I started to scream right there on the hospital bed. I held on to the rails, to the side rails of my bed, And I was screaming, Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. Would you believe that nobody heard me? No one heard me in that hospital. No one came to my rescue. I was screaming like my life was slipping out of me that day. And after screaming for a while, I just slept off. I don't know what happened,
Hmm.
right? I don't know what happened at that point. My husband came back later to pick me up. I told him, see what happened. I don't understand. The pain was so much, like my tummy was being pulled from both sides. He said, let's pray. We prayed about it and we left the hospital. And of course, the 2 weeks, those 2 weeks wait, you know what it is if you've had IVF before. Those 2 weeks during which you have to wait before
The
you test.
worst waiting period ever.
The longest 2 weeks, you know.
Ah.
I was told not to do anything stressful. Of course, I took time off work. My husband took my phones, my laptop away from me so that I would not stress at all, mentally, physically. He was doing everything in the house. I wasn't doing anything aside bathing myself, watching movies, and and thinking about and daydreaming about the babies. So the 2 weeks came, and we took, happily, we took the test.
Hmm.
Man, we could not believe what we saw. Just one line. Like, what? What's the meaning of this? My husband asked me immediately, how are you feeling? I said it is well. I just said it is well, fine, and I left it. But again, that's a big problem. Many times we suppress our emotions because we want to appear strong. It's very dangerous. I said it was well, right? But something was wrong somewhere. I didn't realize it. I went back to work. I would go to work. I would smile. I would do everything. I was a manager in my workplace. So, yeah, people will come. I will smile out. And then 3 months later, I snapped. I fell into depression, serious depression. I stopped talking to my husband. I stopped picking calls from anyone. The only people I spoke to were my colleagues because it was compulsory. So I would just go to work, talk, do my work, go back home. I would not eat. My husband will cook and put in the car for me. I will drive off. I will not touch that food where he kept it in the car. I would return with it. That was the time I developed ulcer. It led to ulcer because I was not eating. So I was like that for like 2 months. I stopped going to church. And for your information, for those who don't know, my husband is a pastor. So you can imagine you're a pastor, so then you stop going to church. I was so depressed that I felt, God, if you were not kind enough to make me have children, and then I did IVF, you made us waste the loan we took. Like we took a loan, and now it's all wasted. Then all the injections I had to take for a total of like 70 days, all gone down the drain. I was angry at God. So I was like, no, I am not going to church anymore. I'm not praying. I'm not. My husband will be praying. I will not respond. So maybe it would have been better if I had expressed myself at that point when the test failed, when the test turned out negative. But the fact that I suppressed it was really dangerous. So it meant that I bottled up a lot of things and was pretending to be strong. And that's why I keep telling people when they tell somebody who's going through tough time, you are strong. I say, stop that. Why must you define strength by hard times? Oh, you're very strong, you're very strong. No, no, no. You shouldn't be doing this. And we know the kind of country where we are. The issues, I think it's these days when people are even feeling prayer to talk about infertility. In years back, it was a thing of shame. You
Yeah.
felt like, hey, I am not capable. I'm less than a woman. You don't want to talk about it. Then when you talk about the pastor side, people will even say, this one that cannot pray for herself to have children. This man that cannot pray for himself to have children, is he the one I will ask you to pray for me? So a lot of issues. You don't have somebody to talk to. You don't have support groups. You're lucky you have Marinade Hub support group. In those years back, which support group for people waiting? So you're just on your own, you're brooding over your issues alone. It's killing you, you can't say anything. Even family, a lot for me, I did not have family support. And I've written about it on social media before. I did not have family support. I am a sixth child out of seven. My siblings, older siblings, were not giving me support at the time. The only one who asked at some point who asked me, oh, this one, that one, took us to Babalawo's place. She told us she was taking us to a pastor's house because she knows we are Christians, right? And we don't want anything diabolical. So she told us she was taking us for prayers. When we got there, we found out it was something else. And we're like, no, sorry, ma, we cannot do this. And because she said that, she got very angry with us.
Wow.
And then started telling the others that those don't mind Josephine and her husband. They are very unserious. It's money they are chasing. They are not after children. They don't want children, you know. And a lot of issues. And because before we got married, also, people that believe in all this spiritualist and whatever. So some of my siblings who claimed they saw visions that we should not get married because we'll divorce after 3 years started mocking. I'm
Wow.
talking of people from the same womb. They started mocking that, oh, it was her disobedience that caused childlessness for her. So
Wow.
there was no support. If you are family support, I congratulate you. But it was the opposite from my in-laws. My father-in-law, my mom-in-law were quite supportive, always praying for us. Always praying for us. So, and if you're here, you're not waiting, but you have siblings who are waiting, please, I charge you to give them moral support and pray for them. Don't mock them. Don't try to explain it away. We are used to trying to explain people's challenges. We think we know why they are going through what they are going through. We think we know the solution to everything. No, you don't. You don't. You know. So I went into depression. Anyhow, after about 2 months, I came out of that depression. And then I told myself I would never again attempt IVF or any treatment. Let me just stay on my own. Let me continue this way. But you know how it is now. If after another 1 year you start thinking, hi,
Yeah.
God, oh, time is going again. What can I do? What can we do again? My husband was like, that he was scared though, because of the 2 months depression I had the other time. He was really scared because it affected him. So he was like, no, with what I experienced with you when you had depression, you didn't speak to me for 2 good months and we're living under the same roof. I don't want that to happen again. So, we tried again, like, okay, can we try? While we were preparing, we now went to the hospital one day and they decided to run. Okay, I was having pains. I started having these excruciating pains that would start after menses. Now, I usually don't have menstrual pain. So this one would begin after menses and last until the next menses starts.
Hmm.
So like 14 days every month, I was always in pain. Very serious pain that in the office, I will shut my door. I had the luxury of having an office to myself because I was the manager. So I would lock the door and be crying in the office because of the pain. When people knock, I will run into the toilet to wash my face, and then I will clean up, open, and smile. Oh, how are you? What do you need? And I will attend to my colleagues and they will leave. When they leave, while they are with me, I'm actually holding back the pain and holding back my tears. When they leave, I would continue crying. I was in that pain, I was taking medication. In fact, if you come to our house, you would see a box full of painkillers. I was always on painkillers, taking one painkiller or the other, one painkiller or the other because of pain. So there was this early morning, the pain was so much that my husband rushed me to the hospital. I think this was now 2016. Yeah, we were in Calabar. He rushed me to the hospital, and after some, palpations, the doctor sent me for an ultrasound. I went, and the sonographer was like, "Madam, do you have children?" I said, "No." He said, "There's no way you can have children with what I'm seeing." Oh. I was like, what is this? He said, "You have very large multiple fibroids." When did fibroids become large and multiple? Oh God. Okay.
The
So
tiny fibroid.
and they are very large multiple fibroids. Okay, so it was like you need to go for surgery. I was scared. Why was I scared? Because I'd heard the story of someone who had a fibroid surgery and she died. She couldn't make it. In fact, two people, they didn't make it out of the theater. So I was scared immediately. So of course you're going to hear, you know, bad news about maybe the treatment options you're supposed to pursue. The fact that it did not work for some people does not mean it shouldn't work for you, you know.
Yeah.
So I had soaked in that negative news to the extent that I became very scared. Then I learnt of another big sis who I'm sure you know her, Sister Toyin, and she has told her story, who had fibroid surgery, and because her situation was not managed well, it led to a particular syndrome and she couldn't carry
Mm.
pregnancy anymore. And that was why eventually she had to resort to surrogacy. So immediately those stories flashed back and I was like, no. I told my husband, I cannot do this surgery. He said, well, you're having pains. In fact, whenever people saw me then, I appeared like somebody who was 5 months pregnant. And I
Yeah.
like wearing dresses at the time. I would be sucking in my tummy so that my tummy would appear flat. It was always looking very pregnant. In fact, some people would be like, hey, congrats, Josephine, save
Oh,
the little. And that's one thing. Why do people assume that when they see big tummy, it is pregnancy? Sometimes it's insensitive, but where you may not really blame people. So I told him no, that even if we have to have a surgery, I will not have a surgery in Nigeria. I don't trust Nigerian doctors. So he said, okay, where are we going to get the money to go abroad? I was like, okay, maybe we bought one plot of land in this place and one plot of land in that place. Let's sell the two. At that point, I think we had two plots of land. I was like, let's sell both and go to Germany or India and have a surgery. So my husband said, no, he never reached like that. So I said, it's my life. Oh. If I die now, you marry somebody else. So you just tell yourself it's our time. What I don't want to die you know. So I contacted my organization. I was working with one US organization then. Like I wanted to do a surgery, but I'm not sure of the hospitals where we had some form of health insurance. But the health insurance said they were not covering fertility treatment anyway. But just if you have malaria, if you have this one, you can go there. But fertility treatment, no, they weren't covering all those investigations. So they told me, oh, there was a new hospital in Calabar. I won't mention their name because you haven't given me permission to advertise any hospital. So that or unless you want me to mention for the sake of those who live there, if they are looking for good hospitals, even though I don't know if the doctors that attended to me at the time are still there. So I went to that hospital and I did something. I told the gynecologist I met, this is my history. This is my medical history. I have fibroids right now, multiple fibroids. It checked and confirmed. Now I want to be sure you're competent enough to
mm.
handle my case. I don't want to die. The man laughed, and I don't want my uterus compromised. He
Mm.
laughed again. I said it won't be compromised. I said, how will I know that? So he said, okay, any question I have. And me, I read a lot when I need to read about something. And that was something I really did during our time of waiting. I was reading, like I read to the point that I became an uncertified fertility doctor. So I would read anything they say is wrong with me. I will go back and start studying, reading about it. So I will have a lot of knowledge. So whenever I went to see my doctor, I dey teach people where they after me, oh, because I'll waste time with the doctor. I'll keep questioning him, asking him, have you heard about this? Have you heard about it? Like hemorrhage control. When we're preparing for the surgery, I read a lot about the latest advancements in technology in hemorrhage control. So I went to the hospital and asked my daughter, have you heard about this method of hemorrhage control? I don't want to take blood transfusion. I know you guys will test for HIV, hepatitis, and all that. You will screen the blood for genotype, for all that. But if somebody has itching in their blood, in their family line, how will you test for that now? If I go and take that kind of blood, the man laughed. So I said, rather than infuse me with another person's blood, can you do hemorrhage control? Do you have this latest advancement technology? So reading up about your
Mm.
situation is something that is very important. Again, it alleviates your fear. It makes everything ordinary. And I also watch documentaries a lot. Like when I was preparing for the first mammectomy is the removal of fibroids, like an open mammectomy. I watched a lot of YouTube videos so that my fears will be allayed.
Yeah.
I will watch to see what's happening. I'm not afraid of blood. I don't, I'm in the medical, so I'm not afraid of blood. I watched to see how it was done, to see the how successful it was and all that.
Mm.
So my doctor and I are basically prepared together for the surgery. And yes, they brought out the fibroids. And were they large? Oh my God.
Wow. Mm.
You needed to see the fibroids. Hmm. They were large. I insisted on a video. I told them I wanted
Wow.
my surgery covered. So they were like, they had never done that in the house. So I said, ah, una go do am o. Now I want to see my surgery. I want to see because you won't let me view it when you're doing
Yeah.
it. So I took my iPad along. I begged them. So they commissioned one of their nurses to cover the entire episode for me. So
Yeah.
I have my video, and all that. So I was able to watch the entire video after the surgery. My husband was like, "You get mind, though. You are watching." Because I was like, It's nothing to me, But let's assume they made any mistakes. I would discover it in that video. So basically I took charge of my life. I took charge of the entire process. I wanted to be sure that everything was going to be done well. I asked about the anesthesia. I asked about everything that I had read about to be sure that everyone was going to be there for me so that nothing would go wrong. So when you have to undergo a medical procedure, please take charge. Don't leave everything to your doctor.
To the doctor. Mm.
Don't be like, no, I'm not supposed to ask a question. I'm just the school teacher. So you go to the hospital, doctor just tells you things and you leave. You don't ask questions. You don't. I've interacted with a lot of ladies and I'm like, what did the doctor tell you? I don't even
The
know,
doctor.
madam.
Mm.
I don't know. They just said something, something, something. I'm like, are you
Mm.
serious at all? Are you serious? You're dealing with infertility and you're not paying attention to your situation. You're saying you don't know what the doctor said. Maybe it's my husband. It was my husband that collected. Come on. Please pay attention. Be in charge of your life. Be in charge of your own situation. So yeah, I did the surgery and I was assured that maybe after 6 months latest, after healing, I should get pregnant. That every other thing was okay. Oh, fine. So I waited. And then the 6 months passed, nothing. 1 year, nothing. Hey God. Which one is this again now? Then we moved from Calabar to Abuja and we looked for good hospitals again. We started, they checked, and they started talking about endometriosis. Ha. So another diagnosis. I started reading up about endometriosis. I started treatment. At some point, I was on Zoladex injection for a while. If you've taken Zoladex injection, you know how expensive it is, how painful it is. The injection, the needle they use is like a nail. It's very
Mm.
one big needle like this they inject on the stomach, you know. So I was on that injection and you take it once a month. That's Zoladex injection. At the time, I think it was maybe 140,000 naira for one injection.
Wow.
I checked it off recent and I saw $980 for
Ooh.
Zoladex injection. I screamed like, I hope it's not like that in Nigeria. I hope it's made in Nigeria. I don't know. Here it's about $980 for one injection. So again, it's draining. So I understand you. I understand when some people are like, I can't go to the
Yeah.
hospital, don't have money. And that's one of the reasons you have this support group to help raise. It's not like Susu has the money there. It's just her trying to mobilize funds to help people. And that's one of the essence of this um of having a support network,
Mm.
you know. Now, at some point, I used to get really tired of the whole thing. I would just want to shut down mentally, totally. My husband was more like the constant factor. Apart from God, now I've not talked about God and I'll still talk about that. My husband was more like the constant factor whose faith did not waver. But for me, at some point, it was a roller coaster.
Yeah.
This time I'm high up there and declaring, I am not barren, I am fruitful. My children shall surround my table like olive trees. This, that. I would take the baby clothes we bought, I would wash and spread and be calling my baby's names. You, come and wear your clothes. At some point, I bought disposable plates. Whenever we're eating on the dining table, I would put small food in some plates and put on the table and be calling my children's name. If you had visited me that time, you probably think I had run crazy. I was exercising fit, you know. I would. be doing that, doing this, doing that. And then there was this, change in face in our moods, in my mood. Let me put it that way.
Mm.
When you're waiting, depending on how many years you wait, there is a change in face about the way you feel, how expectant you are per time. It seems like the longer you wait, oftentimes, the less expectant you become. Like you
Mm.
get more scared by the day.
Yeah.
You're more afraid, like, is this going to ever happen? Maybe in the first 2 years, 3 years, I was still like, oh, yes, it will happen. Ah, should be I've seen somebody who waited 4 years, no problem now. But when you begin to cross decade, that decade line, you're like, okay, okay, here we are. Am I sure this thing will happen? Yes, I believe in God. Yes, I pray. Yes, I've seen people who God has answered, but they are not me.
Yeah.
In fact, at some point, some people's testimonies will begin to sound cold in your ears. You're hearing testimony, but you don't want to hear. You're like, I don't hear, I beg they go. Every time, testimony, why is mine not happening? Do you understand? I felt like that at some point. And there was a point where I was so ashamed I couldn't admit publicly that I didn't have children. So when people ask me, that some people they just ask questions.
Yeah.
Hey, Josephine, long time. How are you? How many children do you have now? And I'll be like, two. I'll just say it spontaneously. Then in my mind, I'll be like, God forgive me, I just lied. I just told a lie. God forgive me. God please. Okay, then I'll try to justify it. It was faith. It was a statement of faith, Joe. It's not a lie. The battles will be going on in my mind. Like,
Mm.
did I lie, or was it a
Yeah.
statement of faith, or was it a lie out of shame? Things like that. I couldn't bring myself to say I don't have kids, because the way people will look at you, the moment they know you don't have kids and you've been married for
Mm.
long, people don't help matters. They look at you with pity, with disgust, even in the church. Some people think if you can't have children, then it means you must have been promiscuous. Oh,
Yes.
you did not marry as a virgin. Hey, they
You
are
need,
pitting
you need
innocent
deliverance.
pastor. I remember those that were saying they were pitting my husband, the innocent pastor. Say this one, maybe in the university, she don't use herself anyhow. Can't hide under one innocent pastor now. Can you imagine suffering the man? you,
God.
you know, and those who will be praying unsolicited public prayers for you, thinking they are helping you. You're celebrating a birthday and somebody will come on social media and say, by this time next year to be you and your children, I send you. I ask you, if you want to pray for me, for crying out loud, if that prayer is genuine, go into your closet, and God who sees you in secret making that prayer will reward you in the open. In fact, there were people who never prayed, publicly to my face, but there were those who knew when I got pregnant. They knew without me telling them, and they called me and said they saw this.
Yeah.
There was a friend who I had not spoken to for like 2 years. She just sent me a message. I was 3 months pregnant. I had not told her. She sent me a message and said, this thing I saw about you now in my trance, may it happen in Jesus' name. And I said, what is it? She said, I saw you rejoice, calling me to come and rejoice that you are 7 months pregnant. And do you know that eventually my baby shower was at 7 months and she was there? So, all those things, you're going to face different types of insensitive people around you, the prayer warriors who will never pray for you in secret. Oh. They know they remember you when they do devotion. Now on Facebook, then they remember to pray for you. You have such people. Please don't mind them. If you can shut them down, shut them, tell them to stop. What I used to do was to delete those comments, such comments on my page. When I see you praying for me that next year to be you and your children, I will just delete the comments. No problem, no time, you know. And on my birthdays, I used to switch off my phone because I did not like this thing of hello, happy birthday. By
Mm.
this
By
time
this
next
time
year,
next year.
this leave me alone. Just wish me happy birthday like you would wish every other person. Don't remind me on my birthday that I don't have children. Don't remind me. So people do that nonsense a lot. Or on December 31, January 1, you hear, this year is your year. Who told you? It's my year. Are you my prophet? Are you the Holy Spirit? Who told you that this? I know some people mean well. I know a lot of people mean well, just that they are emotionally unintelligent. They are, and this thing is not just about people who wait. You might be waiting, you who is watching this might be waiting. But are you doing the same to people who are waiting for other things aside children? So we need to pick this too. Who told you this year is my year? How did you know? So when you say it and I start waiting that, and then it doesn't happen, what do I how do I feel at the end of that year? Please pray for people in their secret, in your secret place, not publicly. And when they are celebrating anything, don't use that as a period to remind them of what they lack. It's very insensitive and wicked, you know. Then, if yes, somebody mentioned Mother's Day. On Mother's Day, if you dare post when you don't have kids, you will see them bombarding your comment section. Ah, may you be a mother too in Jesus' name. For now, beguna now, you know. So those kind of things really happened a lot. At first, I used to let them get to me, but over time, I developed a thick skin. I didn't let these things get to me anymore. You know, I just focused. The most painful one was like the final IVF we had. So in total, we had five IVFs. Let me mention that. We had five IVFs in total. And you know what that means, you know. At some point, I got into an organization that supported fertility treatment to a specific amount. We even we exhausted that amount. So we had to go back to using our own funds for treatment. So I had my fibroids grew again. The first time they took out five. The second time it was 13. The second time I had a myomectomy, they took out 13 fibroids. Yeah. And I had support from my husband, from maybe one or two friends that we told. We were not really big on telling people. We were not telling our families about all this. We just kept these things to ourselves. Like I told you before, I didn't have family support, so there was no point. I wasn't telling them about
I
my
mean,
issues.
which one will you tell? Which one will you? It's so much
You know.
detail. They won't even understand it.
And at some point, one of my siblings started spreading rumors that my husband must be impotent. Like, how can a man stay with a woman for this number of years without a child? And if he's not the one who has a problem, why is he staying with her? That the man must be impotent, Jerry. So she started telling that, how did we know? Suddenly, my mom will call. My mom is very old. She's almost 90. My mom would call my husband. She wouldn't, in my house, we have a policy about phone call. Our phones are always on speaker. So whoever you're calling, we are both hearing. So my mom will call her and be like, hey, Muyiwa, please, oh, whatever you know is wrong with you, I want you to open up to my daughter. Confess to her. Uh-uh. Be like, where is this coming from? So I will take the phone and say, Mommy, Kilode, what is what is he hiding? She will be like, hey, you know you. Hey, even if you are suffering, you like suffering in silence. You will not talk. You this one, that one. Leave me, oh, let me tell him now. Let him confess. I said, what is he confessing, ma'am? Do you even know what is wrong? Do you know I'm the one who has all these problems? Somebody is supporting me, and then you are saying this about him. What kind of thing is this? So at some point I had to ask her, who is feeding you with nonsense? Where are you saying this? At first, she'll be like, she had a dream. I said, no, Mama, you did not have any dream. Who is that dreamer? Who is the person pouring dream? Please just tell me the truth. Then she told me, okay, is this your sister that said that when she visited you, she saw medications in your fridge? I'm like, okay, so if you see medications, it means my husband is impotent. Eh? Those medications are for me. Some of them are even expired. Like I was tired of taking them. They were just there. She was like, are you sure? She just afraid though, before maybe this man has raised another family. I said people are not even serious. He's important, then he has raised another family. What exactly are you saying? Maybe if you, sorry, let me take some water.
Mm.
You know? So those kind of things, family intrusion, unnecessary family intrusion and assumptions. People will make a lot of assumptions, and we're used to that thing. Of course, we know the assumptions are mostly tilted towards the women. Like, oh, once you see a family where or they are not able to have children, you immediately assume, oh, the woman has a problem, this one. It's rare for people to make assumptions about the men in our society. But in our own case, my own family was making assumptions about my husband, whereas I was the one who was having all the medical issues. But because we were not close, I wasn't close to them, we were not talking, they were not providing any stuff, so they didn't know whatever was happening to me. I was just dealing with issues on my own. But thank God for friends. I have a lot of friends, and if you permit me, I will mention Yewande Ogunumbi was one friend that stood with me all through, stood with us in prayers and everything. And the moment I got to our patient, there's Dr. Patience to Odudu. She was always there encouraging. In fact, sometimes she will come and she won't know what to say. Like, maybe I've just had a failed IVF, she will just come and sit like, hi, hey God, how are you feeling? I go just they look. Like, it's a yeah, we just they look. I won't know what to say, you know. And then when I got to meet Chioma, Chioma became a great source of encouragement. Chioma Emezi, she's been a very supportive friend through and through. God bless my friends. God bless my friends. Now, for some friends who never spoke about it, also, at first I was angry, but after a while, there's this our close friend. She's been my friend from secondary school days, my benchmate. So we were very close, but she had never asked me about this issue. So one day we visited and I was like, babe, what is wrong with you? I have something against you. You got married, you now have how many children? Maybe three or whatever. I'm your friend. I don't have any child. You've never asked me, even once, what the problem is. So like, hey, Desola. Okay, sorry, Desola is my Yoruba name. So a lot of people who knew me growing up addressed me as Desola. So like, Desola say, it's not our fault. Oh. And the husband said it's true. You people appear happier than we that even have children. So don't know how to ask you that kind of question. Because you guys are always happy, you're always jolly when you're here. So how do you sit somebody who is happy down and start asking them about children? You know, like they always wonder that these people are happier than we who have how many children. What was the source of their happiness? I was like, eh. He said yes, so they didn't want to spoil our joy, but that they've been praying for us. I said, oh,
Okay.
okay, I understand. So sometimes when some people don't ask, it may not be that they don't care. It
Yeah.
may just be that they are confused. They don't know how to ask. It's a situation they've never dealt with, so they don't understand and they don't know how you will feel if they ask you. So that's why you see some people who love you and they will not ask. Now we had another group of friends who stopped informing us whenever they had babies.
Mm.
In fact, they even tried to hide it. There was a particular one we visited, and this is very funny. The 2 days before we visited, I had a dream that that the lady had a baby. So I woke up, I saw her delivering a baby. I never knew she was pregnant all along, but I saw her
Mm.
having a baby. She had a baby before. So when I woke up, I told my husband, oh, I saw this person having a baby in my dream. Let's pray for her. So we prayed for her that God, if she's pregnant, may she deliver safely, this and that. Then we visited 2 days later. It was the husband's office. We branched off. We went to do something else in that city, and then we branched off to just say hello to the husband. So while we were sitting there, a client of the husband came in and was congratulating the man. Congratulations on your latest baby. And the man
Mm.
was, signaling to the client not to talk about it, trying to shut him down. So my husband and I just looked at each other and smiled. And the client did not guess, he didn't decode.
Yeah.
So he saying, I let madam had a baby now. Yesterday,
That's really embarrassing.
you know, and he kept saying, oh, he was trying to change the
Yeah.
discussion. But that one was not decoding. He just the drop the yarn. I just laughed. And then he when he saw that the man, had busted everything, he said, oh, thank you, thank you. Then he came back to say, I'm sorry. It's just that and there was a little complication during the delivery. That's why I didn't want to talk about it here. We said, don't worry, we understand. But you know how that made us feel?
Yeah.
Like, because we don't have children, we are not worthy to be told
To
about
celebrate. Yeah. Good news.
We are not what, maybe we have bad vibes, I don't know, maybe we have bad luck, so they don't want. Then there was another one too, who was a very good friend. They had a baby, he didn't tell us. And then we went somewhere around where he lived and just branched off to say hello, only for him to try to be hiding the baby in the in the room. And we just laughed like, now wow. So you have different kinds of people, you know. You have different kinds of people. So we had all those, and the final IVF we had, it was more like, this is your last chance, you know. If this doesn't work, we are sorry. And I will go on. By that time, you had linked me up with NSPPD. So I'll be like, God, Lord, this is our last chance. Come and help. I pray, pray, pray. My husband will pray, we will declare, we believe God, this must work. Show your power and all that. Mm. So we went ahead, we put in our last. And for those who did long reach, if you remember, I was on long reach, and there was some money we made from long reach. Like we qualified for cars, for trips. We got all that money, and that money we actually pumped it into the very last IVF. Okay, let's do this and see where it goes. At first, we thought it worked. So there are even some people who will be like, okay, this your pregnancy, this one. I'm like, okay, yeah, we did everything and all that. But the whole thing, the way it went at the end of the day, when we tested, nothing. We were confused. What's the problem here? Nothing again. We waited again, nothing. Okay, so let's leave it. Then I went and started doing exercises. And let me mention again, this period was the period when I ever took my exercises very seriously. Before then, I would exercise a little and I would relax. But because I went to the hospital and I was told that my cholesterol level was very high. And again, if your cholesterol level is very high, it can affect your hormones. And when your hormones are not balanced, it will affect your ability to conceive. So for some people who are, maybe you're on the big side, and somebody has tried, to communicate that you should try to shed some weight, and you get angry and tell them that are people who are fat not getting pregnant. Remember, our bodies are different. Our bodies are very, very different. So yes, some people may be getting pregnant, but your own weight might be affecting you. So for the next 5 months after that last IVF fail, I started exercising every day except on Sundays. Every day I will do 6,000, either 6,000 steps or 1 hour of brisk walk. But once I hit 6,000 steps, I'll go back home. Did I lose weight? No. But it improved my circulation, my blood circulation. I felt better, entirely in my body. And I think that the fifth month would be around September or something. Anyhow, by October, I was feeling ill. I was feeling very sick. In fact, towards the end of September, I was feeling very sick. And the only illness, aside going to the hospital for fertility treatment, the only illness I've ever had in my life is malaria.
Hmm.
I am ill, but even the malaria, maybe I have it only once in 4 years. I don't usually fall ill like that. So I was like, told my husband that, oh, I think I have malaria.
Hmm.
So, but I don't like medications. I prefer injections usually. Thank God that I don't like medications. I took only paracetamol because of the fever I was having. For those of us who know, red fever means high temperature. So I took
Hmm.
only paracetamol, but it wasn't subsiding. In fact, we had a program. My husband had a PhD induction, a doctorate induction program. I couldn't wait till the end of that program that day. That was September 25 or something, 2021 now. And I was feeling very feverish. So one of those who attended had to take me to the hospital from that event. We went there, they took my blood and everything, and then I left that I will come back. I didn't go back until October when I wasn't feeling well again. It's to go, come, go, come. So we went back October, and We saw the doctor, and the doctor was laughing. So, like, what is wrong? Then he said, from what
How
I'm
about
seeing, I told my husband that maybe I have infection again. Oh. Like when you keep having high temperature. Then he just smiled and said, from what I'm seeing, Josephine, it is safe to say congratulations. So I'm like,
how about
congratulations.
go?
This was in the 14th year, yeah, 14th year. Congratulations for what? He said, you are pregnant. I was just there, like no emotions, no reactions from me. It was my husband who jumped up and said, well, then I saw my husband, sweating immediately, started sweating profusely. So I was asking, what's wrong? What is the problem here? Then the doctor faced me and said, Josephine, did you hear what I said? I said, what did you say?
Ah,
What did you say? And the doctor said, I said, you're pregnant. Then I said, but I've never been told that in my life. I've never heard that before in my life. He said, okay, but now I have just told you that. Uh-uh. My husband immediately asked the doctor, do you have a toilet? Like his tummy was upset immediately. The doctor said, yes, that's the toilet. So he ran there. By the time he came back, his clothes was wet. He was sweating. Then he started crying. To tell you how
oh,
much he didn't register with me, I took my phone, I was laughing at my husband and I was recording him. Like, why are you crying? What's the problem? He said, didn't you hear what the doctor said? I said, I don't understand now. I was like, I don't understand. We
oh,
left. He still didn't register.
yeah.
So like, you're pregnant, too. You have to think things easy. I said, how? How did it happen? He said, well, it just happened. Are you sure? He said, okay, let's run a blood test again. They ran blood test to check HCG level. So he said, very healthy level. Please, so how many months, have you, how many weeks, this thing you are talking about? He said it's about 5 weeks. Eh? I started calculating how, when did it happen? How? Like, okay. I left. It still didn't register. I think I was already 10 weeks or 12 weeks gone before it started dawning on me. I started throwing up, and all that, the nausea and everything. I'm like, wait, oh, I am pregnant. Oh. But there was something that happened. I will not go into details about that, but I would just want to mention it for the sake of people here, the spiritual aspect of this entire issue. In 2011, which was about 4 years after our marriage, I had gone to Calabar on an official trip. At the time, we were living in Ogun State. I hope you're following, please. And I spent 2 weeks on that official trip in Calabar. When on my way back at the airport, waiting lounge in Calabar, an elderly man approached me. I think it was a fellow traveler, and said, hello, young lady. The Lord asked me to tell you, the Lord asked me to tell you that there is somebody who you address as mother, but who is not your biological mother. The Lord asked me to warn you to stop addressing her as mother, because each time you open your mouth to call her mother, you're using your very mouth to reinforce her power over your life.
Wow. Wow.
I was shocked because there's only one person in this life who I call mother who is not my biological mother. I didn't even care to ask the man for his number, but he just went and sat elsewhere. I was scared, like, what's the meaning of this? And I've called this person mother since I was 4 years old. If you understand Yoruba culture very well, you will know that it will be difficult to suddenly stop addressing somebody you've always called mom, mommy, to start calling her something else. So I got back home, I told my husband about it. My husband said, but this is the only person you call mother now, is it? I said, yeah. He was like, no. What are you now going to be calling her? Auntie or what?
You,
No, 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 no. Then I called my mom.
I can't
I
hear
told my
you.
mom. My
Can
mom
you
said,
guys hear
shut up.
her?
I think they can. They can. They are commenting. Can you hear
Okay.
me?
Okay, I can hear you now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I called my mom. My mom said, "Iru jati kati kati oni. What kind of nonsense is that? Please get out, Joe. Don't be listening to all these nonsense people." I said, "Mama, I don't know this person, no. And I don't know why this person is telling me this." Anyway, fast forward to 2021. One thing I remember that happened was that again, we prayed, and a woman of God told us that, come, this prayer you are praying, you only need to separate yourself from somebody. There is somebody, a woman, who is very close to you guys. You need to stay away. So I said, no. I told her that I have spirit husband. I think I have spirit husband. She said, no, you don't have spirit husband. I said, no, I do. The dreams, all those dreams. You see somebody coming to meet you in the dream, this one. She said, no, it is this woman who changes in form to oppress you in your dream. You do not have spirit husband. You
Wow.
better listen and stay away. So we started to detach at that point. We detached. And I'm talking about this thing came in August. And like I mentioned earlier, I started feeling very ill in September, right? Went for test, but didn't wait for result. Then went back early October and was told I was pregnant. So this thing, sometimes we deal with physical things without addressing the spiritual undertone. Am I saying every infertility has to be spiritual? No, that's not what I'm saying. But I am saying that there are many causes. They could be medical, they could be lifestyle related. I've talked about how I did exercises, right? They could be lifestyle related, and they could be spiritual. Are you addressing all? Or are you taking things for granted? Are you praying with your spouse? Because unity was one thing that also helped us. People who try to come between you two when you have this kind of challenge. They start trading blames, helping you to point out faults in one another. Are you both united? So, unity, the fact that we used to pray together, even though at some point I was working in a different station from my husband, in the morning we used to do one devotion together on the phone. Through WhatsApp, we'll do devotion together. At night, we'll do devotion together, except when either of us was very, very tired. But we made sure to keep that line of communication and pray together every day. And then no secrets between us. And there was no blame game. The fact that I was the one who had the issues did not make my husband to blame me for one day. Abi, was I the one who caused the fibroids? What did I do to cause fibroids? Somebody even saw me one day and said, "Ah, maybe you should stop eating too much meat." If you know me very well, you know that I rarely eat meat. So I just laughed. I rarely eat. I had serious anemia in pregnancy because I could not eat meat. And the not eating meat was not because of pregnancy. I was not eating meat before the pregnancy. I'm not a meat freak. I'm not a fish freak. Tea, maybe I take tea once in a month. So unity between husband and wife is very, very important. Leaving only your wife to keep going to the hospital just because she's the one who has medical issues does not show oneness in the marriage. So you need to understand the concept of oneness in marriage. And when there is infertility, it is the challenge for both of you, not for one person. Not for one person. So staying together, sticking together through it all really, really helped us. I didn't, like, if I felt bad that I didn't have a child, I just felt bad because I really love children. I love babies. And I'd always wanted babies. Not because my husband never made a statement one day to make me feel bad about the whole issue. He kept praying and telling me, God said we will see our children's children. If God said we will see our children's children, it means we will have children now. That's what it means. And do you know we also tried adoption twice?
Wow.
Yeah, we attempted adoption. We we went through all of the processes. We were approved. We got the letters both in Rivers and Cross River, but we were never given babies. Like, all the inspections were done. They will come, they will collect money from us. They will say they are coming to inspect the house. They will check accounts and statement. They will do this one. They will keep calling us up and down. And then after a while, the Ministry of Social Welfare, they approved, they gave us letter, go to one of the orphanages and pick baby. And then we kept going to orphanages every weekend. We will see babies like this. The people managing the orphanage will tell us there is no baby. And we were going with things though, like we would buy a lot of groceries and take to the orphanage. Every time we went with orphanages. We went with groceries. But no, they will say, just keep coming, just keep coming. We, for Port Harcourt, we kept going for 2 years. We got frustrated. They did not hand any baby to us. By the time we moved to Calabar, the same thing happened. Same thing happened. So it's not like we didn't explore. We explored, like, I think the only thing we never explored was surrogacy,
Surrogacy.
because I kept insisting that I wanted to carry the baby in my womb. In fact, at some point, my husband was like, I should let us try surrogacy. That my body had gone through a lot. I had 5 major surgeries altogether. And then we had IVF 5 times. So you understand what my body has been through. So he was like, because of the things my body had been through, he didn't want me to go through that stress of carrying pregnancy again. I said, no, leave me. Oh. If that is the last stress I will carry, I want to carry it. But of course, if my womb had been compromised, I would have opted for surrogacy. You know the conditions that preclude one to surrogacy. So if you're here and your own issue is different, remember what worked for me might not be what will work for you. It depends on your situation. So if you have a compromised womb and you can afford surrogacy, please go for it. I think for now, unless people ask questions, that's the summary of our story. So I got pregnant, yeah, and the pregnancy was a bit smooth. I had the morning sicknesses, the nausea, first trimester, whatever. Second trimester was more of migraine. I had a lot of migraine in second trimester. Of course, later they said it was malaria. You know Niger now, because
Yeah.
during that second trimester period, I was mostly in Meduguri, and there are a lot of mosquitoes there. When you clap like this, you can kill 20 mosquitoes at once. So, yeah, I had it, and but I didn't add weight. In fact, I lost weight because of um the lots of vomiting in first trimester. So I lost 5 kg during my pregnancy. So I was really cute. I was a yuppie prego in my, you know, in my pregnancy, third trimester. It was towards the end of third trimester that my legs started swelling a bit. In fact, the very last month. And then I got very dark, maybe hyperpigmentation. I got very dark towards the end of the pregnancy. That was all. Well, we have a baby to the glory of God, Sarah Beth. He came with a lot of goodies in God's own time with a lot of blessings. Was the journey easy? No, not at all. It was very difficult with, different issues here and there, medical, lack of support, insensitive people all around. People will see you at occasions and be looking at your tummy and then go ahead to say, now, wow, so now still the same thing, it never changed, but all in all, we thank God. For people who prayed with us, we have a senior pastor friend, Pastor Wolabi and Mama Wolabi. They're always praying with us. Like they were one pastor family that we usually told whenever I was going to, have surgery or something. They were there for us. They prayed with us. And again, thanks to my friends, thanks to my father-in-law, my mother-in-law. Very supportive people. They prayed, like, I'm not exaggerating. They prayed every night for those years. Every midnight, every midnight they woke up to pray for us for those years, and never for once did they blame me or blame, there was nothing like, this your wife, or maybe you should go and try another woman. Nothing like that. So thank God for them, thank God for everything and everyone. Yeah, so yeah, that's our story in a nutshell. Did I say nutshell? It looks like I wasted a lot of time. I'm sorry.
No, you did it. Wow, wow, wow. All right, so thank you very much for sharing. This is a lot. So I am happy we're having this conversation on YouTube. So you can always pop in and go and rewatch and rewatch. Please, even your husbands, play it with them. There's a lot of nuggets for couples here, like husbands and wives. You can hear from what she was saying how supportive her husband was to this journey. He played his own role, even though he was not the one carrying the child or he was not the one going through the surgery. He was not the one. going through most of the physical pain, but he had his own pain and he had his own support line. He knew his assignments and he stayed on that track consistently, playing his own role. So, so many of us are going through this journey alone. And so many of us are also not allowing our spouses to support us. So, it's in many ways. You have to be able to receive help. So please always come back here and replay this with your spouses. I'm going to look through questions. You guys are already full. I can see the chat box is like fire. Oh, okay. So detailed. Thank you for sharing. I will share with my husband there. Fantastic. Yes, please do. Thank you so much for this thorough explaining. Anyone has questions? Is there anything that you're going through now that um, maybe you're at the stage that is kind of similar to what she has explained? So this woman has gone through all of it. I didn't see half of what she has seen in my own journey. I didn't have 5 surgeries, So we as individuals, we have different pathways to our journey. Your pathway may be different from my pathway, your own different from the other person. So she went through HSGs, five HSGs. She went through 5 IVFs and 5 surgeries. She tried adoption. So when people are saying to you in church, why are you waiting for 14 years now? Just go and adopt. They say it like it's very easy that when you walk out of your house, you grab the baby and then the baby lands in your house, well, like you have adopted. Even in developed countries, it's not easy to adopt. It takes a lot of procedure. So adoption is not easy as well. Surrogacy, not easy. So all options are not easy. People really need to be very sensitive. Yeah, if you have questions, I'm still looking through. So yeah, there might be a stage in your life, maybe you're about going for the next IVF and you want to ask her questions. I don't know. Maybe you're going through, that withdrawal stage, because I went through it where I just withdrew from everybody else. I did not want to talk to anybody. She also went through it. She said the only human beings she was talking with were her colleagues because she had to talk to them, of course, as a manager. So, all of these things, that's emotions that you go through every time, they are valid. Other people are going through it. They are valid. She has told you that she had all of them. All the roller coaster emotions, she had all of them. So you are not alone. You are not alone. Okay, I have a question here. Was there any point during the IVF that you were told that donor's egg would be better because of your age?
Yes,
That's a good question. Yeah.
yes, yes, there was,
Okay.
but I didn't
So
agree.
you didn't,
I,
yeah.
I,
So
I guess
you
I
never,
hadn't got to that
you
stage
you
of
never used donor
knowing.
eggs in any of your 5 IVFs.
No,
Okay. Okay.
but
So
that does not mean it's bad. It's
no,
just that
yeah,
I didn't get
just
to
yeah,
that point of acceptance.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. Okay. Did you also experience blocked fallopian tubes? It's like you're just joining. Courage. Because if you were here at the beginning, you probably would have heard that. She did. Yes, she did. What else? You should have like a follow-up question to that because I know that you're going through that as well right now. Okay. Um, I'm at the stage now that I'm not talking to anybody. Church activities on hold, everything on hold. Okay. So are you, what should we tell her?
You are not abnormal, please. What you're going through, what you feel right now is normal. Sometimes you really want to take a mental break from it all, but don't stay too long in that stage. Like while you're there, if you're a Christian, ask the Holy Spirit to just help you out of it, to strengthen you. And don't hold back from your friends who try to reach out. I made that mistake. My husband reached out to my friends because he could not access me, and they tried to talk to me. I refused, so that you will not do something terrible to yourself, because depression is very terrible. So I understand it. I stopped going to church at some point and all that, but it's not the best place to be. Depression is a dark hole. You don't want to remain there for too long. So I pray that God will lighten your path and heal your heart and pull you out of that very quickly. It's normal, but please don't stay too long there.
Thank you very much. So you heard her. Don't stay too long, please. It's valid. You can take a break a little bit, but don't stay too long. So you don't fall out of wagon, like Oyibo will say. Don't stay too long. Um, somebody else has shared something similar. I I'm also at the stage where I keep to myself. Funny enough, I just resigned from my job because of the mockery.
Oh, I'm
Resigning
so
from your
sorry.
job. Oh, okay.
I'm so sorry about that. I understand, but I don't know. At the time, I never considered resigning.
Mm,
I was a manager for most of those periods, and when you're at the top, you are the topic of discussion.
yeah,
I didn't used to discuss my family in the office, but I don't know, they might have guessed that I didn't have kids. I didn't know, I didn't care to know. I'm sorry you already resigned. Maybe I don't know. I can't judge your situation because I don't know the degree of mockery in
yeah.
the office. I don't know how they got to know about your personal situation. I'm so sorry about that. But I will advise because your job is one of the things that even keep your minds off.
Mine's out of it. Yeah.
You see, you remember one time when we talked and you advised me maybe I should take a break from my job. And do you remember that time I
Mm,
was still in Medugri and I was like, no, that job is one thing that even helps me take my mind off this issue. If I wasn't busy, and just staying alone. I don't know. So if you have resigned, okay, maybe that's good for your situation, but you cannot run away from mockery. There's mockery everywhere. You need to develop a thick skin against mockers. People who mock you are doing it out of ignorance. Believe me, they are very ignorant. They are very insensitive. It shouldn't affect you. I know it does get to one at some stage, but if you can get another job doing very quickly, please do. Please do. And while you're waiting for the other job, read up a lot and do something productive. Make yourself happy. I pray God helps you in Jesus' name.
amen. Yes, so and also you need money in this journey. Oh. So if you leave your job, how will you fund some of these treatments that we're talking about? Eh? You need money. So I think to add to that question, I would say yeah, it's just one of the things we want to build up or we keep building on the Marinade Hub. You have to build that emotional resilience in this journey because if you focus on what people are doing to you, you will not leave your house safe. You will just stay indoors forever and ever. But you can't stay indoors like that without going out for anything. So you need to work on that emotion, work on that emotion and how you feel. And sometimes you may think people are mocking you. Sometimes they're not even mocking you. Sometimes they're not talking about you. And when you come out, you just feel that they are talking about you. So that's also another level. Notwithstanding that there are people who mock people, that's another level. So you need to build up your confidence in who you are and whatever you believe in, and continue with that. We will not pack out of this earth because of people, because you are going through infertility or a waiting time. Then we will just pack out of this earth. We exist. People who have malaria go to the hospital and get treated. People who have all kinds of sickness and illness, we are not running away from them. We still interact with them. So this is not an infectious disease that's because you are in the waiting room, you should stay away from people. No, please don't let's not allow them to win. The journey is already lonely, and it wants you to be lonely. It wants you to keep going in, falling into that deep hole, and it won't be good for your body as well. Okay, so I'm checking. Any more questions? Okay, stuff though, but God help us. Network. Thank you. Did you use any supplement to boost your egg? I-
I mentioned at the beginning that there was a time we used to order for supplements every month. We just different supplements, but Again, if you read very deeply, you realize that as you age, it's almost impossible. I'm not saying it's not possible, but it's difficult to boost egg quality. You understand? But I know that people talk about diet, nutrition, what to avoid, some kind of foods to avoid. I'm not an expert in that area, so I may not be able to say much. So they talk about what to avoid to delay aging in your egg. So maybe yes, egg aging can be delayed, but you may not necessarily be able to boost. When you say boost now, like you can't increase the number of eggs you have. The moment you're born, every female child when born comes with the same number of eggs. And from puberty, from adolescence, when you begin to have menses, you lose at least one of these eggs every month. So you're not going to be able to boost the number, but maybe you're talking about the quality. Now, there are supplements where I cannot market any. I can't even remember. The truth is, by the time you have children, you get pregnant, you tend to start forgetting some of these things. I can't remember the names of supplement. I had a lot of supplements I took, but I stopped at some point. I stopped totally because I was tired. I felt we were wasting money, so I was tired. But in your case, I don't know. You can ask your gynecologist or fertility doctor. They will know if there are latest supplements you can use that can work for you. I can't really vouch for any right now.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Okay. Um, did you at any point in time, gave up on all treatments and decided not to do anything concerning achieving pregnancy?
Yeah, so that was May 2021. Now, in our home, we have what we call like a 10-year financial plan
Yeah.
that we do that up since 2016. Now, so it's 2016 to 2026. Every year, December 27, 28, 29, we sit to review the financial plan to see what is still relevant, what is not relevant. So childbirth, child delivery is in that plan. Like, okay, when eventually we get pregnant, we'll have our baby either in US or Canada. This is how much we will need, this, that, and that. In May 2021, I went to that plan and I deleted everything that had to do with babies. And I told my husband, no more. I am not undergoing any treatment anymore. I am not taking any medication. I am not going to the hospital. I'm not going to do anything anymore. And I don't, in fact, if there's any support group about fertility, I don't want to hear. I don't want to be part of it. I think it was maybe sometime after that, Sissy reached out to me about joining Marinade. I told her, I'm sorry, I don't want to join. If there's anything I can do to support. That was where I was, the stage I was at that point. I said, no, I'm sorry, I don't want to join. In fact, some WhatsApp groups for fertility support, I exited. I exited those groups. I didn't just want to hear anyone talk about children near me anymore. And I didn't want any treatment. So yes, that point came. That was May 2021. I told my husband I wanted to start prepping myself to live my life without children. I wanted to get used to the idea of no children for life. So I got to that point. So if you are there, sometimes it's normal to get to that point. But sometimes God can surprise you at the point when
Yeah.
it's all over. Then He laughs. He sits in heaven, He laughs, and He just steps in on the scene. Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. So I think everybody would probably have that point in their journey where they just want to stop and take a break. Yeah. So Ibuku, your question has been answered. It's similar to what Vera has asked. I think we've had all the questions. Yeah. Yeah, we've had all the questions. Yes. So, yeah, we've had all the questions. So, guys, in the comment section, drop one thing. What is that one thing that you have been encouraged with this evening from whatever our sister has shared? Can you just share it, put it in the comment box? What is that one thing that she has encouraged you with this evening? And if you are more generous and you want to write more, you can add number two. What is that one thing that I'm going to change in my journey going forward? Because I know that you would have picked one or two nuggets, you know, from what she shared. Do you get tired of making love? You have another question.
Okay, do you get tired of making love? Okay, there were two issues. When I had fibroid, when I had not yet known that the fibroids had grown and I was having pains, love making became difficult. I didn't know what was causing the pain, but I always felt like there was something that felt like stone in my tummy. So yeah, during love making, I would cry. you know I would not want to say no because I didn't want to deny this person. Like, I would want to give in, to start, like, it's been long. I'm not the love making type. Forget all my PDA on Facebook. Oh. I'm not. I can do more of PDA than the real thing. So, but and at some other point during love making, I would be wondering, after all the love making, what has it resulted in? And I'll just find myself shedding tears, crying like no child. Person just dey do, like, Golibe will put it, Chidi, Selema and Kuli. I just do nothing is coming out of this thing. So I'll be lost in thought and I'll be crying. My husband would feel guilty, like, why are you crying? What's the problem? I wouldn't even know if he was saying that I was, crying. He would be like, what's the problem? I said, nothing, nothing, nothing. Don't worry, don't worry. You're crying. Saying no, no, don't worry. Because I didn't want him to feel bad, you know. So at some point, yes, but anyhow, we try to manage it.
Good. All right. Gloria, you've heard your answer. You are getting tired of making love, but you are encouraged to continue. Please be encouraged because there's no other way to get the baby in now, unless you're waiting for immaculate conception. If you want to be another Mary, please tell us. You definitely
And
need to
sorry, Sissy,
be
don't make love with the expectation of getting pregnant. It will
pregnant.
heighten your desperation. Like, just enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
Just enjoy yourself. Like, don't make it like, I'm having this sex because I want to get pregnant. So you are just calculating all the time. Hey, it's ovulation period. I must get pregnant now. I must get pregnant now. Please try. I know it's difficult, but just try
Yeah.
and take your mind, off that calculation.
Yeah. I know. I'm even thinking back then, years ago, while we're still trying. You are just so conscious of the ovulation, the period every time, calculating that you are not even enjoying your sex life.
Yeah,
And thinking about it now from the standpoint where I am and looking back, that could have been, my first few years of enjoying sex life properly before children even came. That would have been the best time of my life if I knew, if I just let it go and just enjoy my life. Because now that children are here with me, I'm super stressed and, I'm thinking about it now like, where do I even have time to do all of these things? But if I enjoyed my life that time, perhaps I would have had a little bit of things to look back on. Anyway, so please, if you can, I think this is one session that we're going to have very soon, talking about how to spice up your marriage while you are waiting, how to spice up your relationship while you're waiting. It's a topic in my heart that I think we should talk about at some point. You have to become very creative, how to start to take your minds off the things going on. It's hard. I know it's hard. But intentionality is the game here. You have to be intentional. If not, you would, you will remain where the enemy has planned for you to remain. You have to be intentional and push yourself out of there. You are not going to be where the enemy wants you to be. You have to be intentional. There will be side. Um, Thank you. Yes, I can see you guys are dropping your highlights. Thank you very much. Um, I have been encouraged. Yeah, so there are no questions anymore. So they are dropping their nuggets. Okay, ma'am. Do you have any final? advice for us? Any final word for
Okay.
the hub?
Okay. Basically, infertility is a disease. Do not be ashamed of seeking medical intervention. When people have cancer, they go to the hospital. When people need, and when people have issues with their eyesight, they take glasses. So ask your doctor about the treatment options available to you, and do not allow any third party to dictate for you and your spouse. You both take your decisions together on which one will work best for you. Do Please ignore whatever any other person is saying. If you need to adopt, please go for it. If you need surrogacy, go for it. Do not mind whatever anyone is saying. People are going to talk. Gossips will last maybe just 2 weeks or 1 month, and then they will shift to another person's story to talk about. So whatever, all you want is children. You want to have your own child, right? People are going to talk about you, then they move on. In old age, if you do not take steps to address your situation now, you're the one who is going to be lonely, not the people who are gossiping about you. So please get up, get serious with your situation, but don't be desperate. And remember, the God factor is very important. The spiritual controls the physical. Pray together and learn the art of worship, of thanksgiving to God, rather than complaining all the time. As difficult as it is, learn the art of praising God with your spouse. Even if it's just 30 minutes every night, please do it. We were doing it, it worked for us. Please do it. And when your doctors give you a diagnosis, stop telling saying all these doctors report the nonsense my doctor was saying. Your doctor is not saying any nonsense. But make sure that you're accessing medical care in a very good health facility. Go to competent doctors. If you've been with a doctor for 5 years and nothing is happening, it may be time to change your
Mm,
medical facility or the doctor. Seek second and third opinions for your situation. And please, when you record any failure, because failure is part of the journey, don't feel too bad. Don't suppress your emotions. Remember, let it out. If you need to cry at that point, please cry it out. Express yourself. If you are a man, men have this habit of keeping things to themselves. At a point, I had to fight my husband because he would never tell me he felt anything.
yeah,
But in the place of prayer, you could see him groaning and crying when he's praying alone. So I could walk in on him and I would see him praying and crying,
yeah,
and I would be like, hey, God, this man, he was keeping strong because of me. He didn't want me to feel bad and all that. So I started telling him, no, you need to let me know how you two feel. This is not just about me. So please, if you're a man here, don't think it's a sign of weakness for you to let your wife know how you also feel about the situation. Be very expressive towards each other. It will help. Just hold each other's hands. Know that it is both of you and God in this challenge. And do not give up until it is over.
good.
Thank you.
Do not, let me type that. Do not give up. Yes, thank you very much. This is like it's a full dose. So guys, please, um, anytime you're feeling discouraged, come back to this video and read it and read it and watch it and listen. It will help you. These are the little things that can help you through the journey. So please buy data instead of buying data to watch celebrities and people that are busy enjoying their lives. Please buy data, come and settle down on this kind of YouTubes and watch it because their testimonies ended in praise, and you are next in line. Please. Thank you so much, Mrs. Josephine Muyiwa-Afolabi, for coming to share your story with us. We are very grateful. We're very grateful. We're very grateful.
Thank you.
One day, someday, we hope to have your husband on stage. I'm really looking forward to hearing him talk about what made him so solid like that to stand by you. I think our men really need
I'm
to
a good
hear.
wife now. Haba, I'm a good wife.
Yes, I know you are. So I'm really looking forward to those sessions because our men really need to learn how they can support their wives and the whole emotions going up and down, how they were able to pull through and still be there with them. So thank you so much for coming. I hope you have a good evening and send our love to Miss Sarah Betts.
Sure, I'll do. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. All right, guys. So thank you so much for coming. I have taken names of people who have been actively involved. So we will share your wins on the group later. I've taken all the names. So we'll share all your wins on the group. Go straight to the group where we announce it. You can see what you've won. Thank you so much for coming. Share this video with anyone that you know you know that will need this. Share this video, share the link. Please share, share, share. Also subscribe. Have you subscribed to our YouTube channel? We just started this channel recently and we're going to be having all our conversations here. Please subscribe. Underneath this video, you will see a subscribe button, subscribe, and you will see a bell button that shows you when we come on live to talk about interesting things. Please do, because we're going to be sharing and bringing more people on stage to share these things so you can see that you are not alone and that you are next in line. Thank you so much for coming. I remain Susu Itwen. I am the convener and the founder of Marinade Hub Fertility Foundation. If you are not a member of the hub, if you are still in the waiting room trying to have your children and you haven't heard of us before, please search for us on Facebook. I'll put it on the description if I can later. Search for us, Marinade Hub Fertility Foundation. That's our Facebook public page. And our private group is Marinade Hub um, private group for families trying to conceive. So you can find us, you can join our group, and stay tuned. We are also on IG, Instagram as Marinade Hub Fertility Foundation. Please join us on all platforms as we share our stories, our testimonies, and all the things that we are doing. Once again, happy anniversary to everybody. Happy anniversary. We made it to our second year. Our second year. Happy anniversary. So I made a list of names. Yes. So these three names. Yeah. So I'll post it on the group. I'll post it on the group. And also, if you are not in any zonal groups, please join in tonight because we're closing all the zonal groups tonight. All our zonal groups are going to be closed. Please join our zonal groups immediately because we are having physical hangouts this. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. Love you guys. Have a good night and see you at the backyard.